Hey, what's going on, Cincinnati fans? We're back again for a second week of Cincinnati sports coverage from your main man, T Money here, and the other man, Giggsy, over on the other coast in Raleigh. Got his mic. He's going to be crisp and clean like his points typically are. Greg, how's it going this week?
Pretty good. How's this sound?
Oh, it sounds beautiful. It sounds beautiful.
Better? Yeah.
Yeah, people can really hear the soul in your voice now, so it's really nice. It's really nice. So
it feels better.
Yeah. You sound good, then you feel good, and you feel good, then you look good. And if you look good, you podcast good. That's the motto here.
Exactly. That's what they say.
Yeah. So this is great, man. We got a lot to talk about here. We're going to talk some Big 12 realignment news and where we stand with that, what our thoughts are on it. We're going to talk some college football playoff predictions here, which is going to be awesome. And then we'll get into some of last week's review and on what we think about what happened on the field. We'll preview the next game. And then we got a little bit of b-ball for you here, some basketball news that we want to bring up for the Cincinnati Bearcat fans out there. So it's going to be a great episode here. Before we get to that, this episode is sponsored by Chili Labs. Chili Labs is owned and operated by a UC alum and is the most affordable lab-tested CBD on the market. You can find more at chililabs.com and use the promo code CATS to get 10% off. So let's kick it off, Greg. Let's kick it off. We got big news in the Big 12 here. This is so exciting. So exciting for Bearcats fans here. We're finally in a big P5 conference after we applied for citizenship in the Big 12 on Wednesday. What are your thoughts?
Dude, the ink is dry. I can't wait till tomorrow. There's going to be the vote going on tomorrow, which is more just for show because everybody is on board with having us in. And then I think our board of directors has to officially do that same vote too. But Big 12, P5, back in the P5. I hate using the term G5 to at least describe us because
we're not a
G5 team. We got screwed out of the last realignment, but I'm excited. This is going to do wonders for recruiting, just like this conference that we're going to be in. Even losing Texas and Oklahoma in a few years, take this a million times. Great basketball and football conference.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. And if people don't remember, Cincinnati has been a power conference before. Back when the Big East was relevant, Miami was winning championships down there, Boston College, all these other big time schools. We were in a Big East with them. I ran in the Big East with these guys, and then we got screwed. So it's going to be awesome to be back in. We have 4 schools officially in with BYU, Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. I think that's a big deal. UCF getting an Orlando footprint. I know we had, that footprint before with being in the conference with them, but I think this is bigger because now we can say we're in the Big 12, we're a Power 5 conference. Recruiting in Florida now is going to be so much more relevant than it has been. And then, like you said, the Texas recruits, my gosh, just having a footprint there and saying you're a Power 5 conference. I know we had Houston, but it's not the same without saying you're a Power 5 conference. I'm so excited for the recruiting that's going to be happening, and we can start it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, regardless, I'm thinking and hearing that we're probably not going to be actually in the league until 2023. Yeah. I know BYU, I think, is going to join by next season. But as an independent, there's a lot less tape, and it's easier. They can just go, yep, we'll join. But I think us getting out of the American whatever, I think we're going to learn more on whatever deal they're going to say, okay, I think UConn, it was somewhere around 17 million, 12 months to get out. I mean, that's a lot of money, but at this point, with the extra money that we're going to pull going into the Big 12, I think you pay that exit fee, get out in, at this point, like 17 to 22 months, get us ready for that 2023, 2024 football season, and let's go.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I definitely think we're going to just get bought out here. And it'll be interesting with BYU as well. I think it'll be tough for them to join. And I think the Big 12 will want everyone to join at the same time. It might be awkward having 11 teams. Plus, BYU has some huge games next year. They play Notre Dame in Las Vegas. They play Oregon. They play Stanford. I mean, these are big time games for an independent that could make you some money. So I think they wait till 2023, just like us, make it an easy transition. But the biggest thing is, if we do go in 2023, does this give Texas and Oklahoma an out legally, or does this push them to want out and just pay out? Because right now they're in this conference until 2025. So what do you think? Do they stay?
I'm still under the impression that they're getting out as soon as they possibly can. I mean, I don't know if I would be shocked. No, I'd be kind of shocked if they were out by next year, but that donor pool for both of those universities is huge,
pretty big,
especially Texas. And God, the fact that Texas is getting out of the Big 12, dropping the Longhorn Network to get to the SEC shows how much they want to get out of the Big 12. So
it's pretty crazy.
I don't really know. I don't know. I think they would like to get out next year.
Yeah.
But then that puts the current Big 12 in a really awkward, 8-team position for a season until that 2023 year. So
yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think they're going to wait because right now they're saying the projected buyout to go into the SEC next year is about 80 to 90 million. I don't know if they want to pull that trigger. I think they wait one more season. I think they're going to wait one more season, and they're going to be 2023, just like we will. It would have been awesome to see Texas and Oklahoma come to Nippert, though. Oh my God. If we had just a lap over season with them, man, that would have been so fun to host them or take a road trip down to Texas or Oklahoma. Man, that would be so fun, but it looks like, go ahead.
We still could. I mean, I'm hoping for that. I want that overlap here, especially because we had Oklahoma down to Paul Brown Stadium a handful of years ago. I want to say like 7 years ago, somewhere around there. But God, getting Oklahoma in Nippert, Rattler will be gone, but just bring in the next quarterback and Lincoln
next
Riley
5-star.
Have that guy humming. So
this is so fun. This is so fun. And I think what I'm most excited for right now, West Virginia, man. I'm ready for that rivalry to be back. Man, that was so fun when we were in the Big East together. It was disappointing to see them go. I love those fans. I love that rivalry that we had. I want to rekindle that. I'm excited for that. That's going to be great.
So I was in DC this past weekend, and I ended up talking to this older couple with their daughter at a bar, and they were all West Virginia fans, went up and watched that West Virginia-Maryland game. We were talking about the realignment, and they were like, oh, we're so excited to have you guys. We just had a great conversation. They were like, we cannot wait to see you guys in Morgantown. This is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be awesome. It'll be really interesting, too, to see where this TV deal goes. There's reports out now that the TV deal – it has now come in expecting to be about $22 to $23 million for this new Big 12, which is huge. I mean, people were expecting this to be in the teens, low teens, to have it go to 22. That's a big win for this group because they're only at 28 right now with Texas and Oklahoma included. So to only have those other teams that are currently in the Big 12 drop $6 million after losing your two by far biggest brands, that's awesome. And it's still actually more than the Pac-12 is getting right now. So that's pretty impressive. Call us Power 4 because Pac-12's outside looking in, son. So big for Cincinnati. We're only making $7 million a year right now. Just imagine the extra budget we got with $15 million extra dollars. Man, Fickle's going to have a heyday.
And that's where I see we can afford this buyout at this point.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
We're used to throw 10 million away. We're used to it. We still profit.
Throw that extra 15, 16 million we will make in the Big 12 every single year. Throw that at the buyout. And again, it's not going to be next year, but 2023. There you are. And you know what? How you said that we can start recruiting as the Big 12 right now as a Power 5. I think that also does apply to Texas and Oklahoma because they can be recruiting those 2023, 2024 kids right now and saying, look, we're in the Big 12 now, still a great conference, but we're going to be in the SEC by the time we're here or by the time you're in your second year. So I that's why I almost kind of could see them staying even a bit longer because
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to hurt recruiting too much. And for us, it's
No.
like we can go after that Big 12 recruiting too.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. This is a huge day for Cincinnati. This is a big week for us. We've been hoping for this, praying for this for a long time, just to put some respect on our name. We are some grinders, man. I think The Athletic puts out every year, Bleacher Report puts out most value for their budget school in the country. And Cincinnati's always at the top of that list for how we perform as a perennial top 25 basketball and football program at such a small budget. So I'm excited to expand that, excited for what's to come. It's going to be fun, but let's move on now. I got to get past my excitement for Big 12. I could talk about this all day. Let's get into these college football playoff predictions now. This is going to be fun because obviously we all know Cincinnati's in the running for this, and we hope to get there, but it's going to be hard to even get past a one-loss team. I think is going to be a really hard one for us. So let's go with you, Greg, first here. Let's start. What are your 4 teams?
Okay. So this is tough. The other day, and I have about half the stat because I can't remember the year, but Alabama and Georgia being 1 and 2 in the AP was the quickest it has happened in a season. I mean, it's week 2 and they're already, the SEC as the top 2 teams. That's the quickest that has happened in years. I'm getting increasingly nervous looking at both of their schedules, thinking that they both can potentially get through their entire schedule without a loss. I think Alabama has A&M. That will be a tough game. I don't know. I honestly think they can both get through those. And at that point, you're looking at probably a Georgia, Alabama SEC championship. I think the loser still gets in. If in fact we have one undefeated SEC team and an SEC team with 1 loss, I think they both make it. At this point, Clemson's long gone. Like after losing to Georgia in that miserable 10-3 game, they're gone. Ohio State, while Minnesota played them really tight, I think CJ Stroud proved me wrong in the second half. I did not think they were going to win the way they
run
did.
Away with it. Yeah.
So all that being said, I'm going Alabama, Georgia. This is where my thoughts on the SEC is getting tough. I think Ohio State. I think we can move ahead of Texas A&M. Oklahoma is the one that scares me that I think could get in before us. So we go undefeated. Oklahoma takes a loss. A&M takes a loss. And Bama, Georgia, Ohio State go the way that I just thought with probably undefeated or 1 loss. I think it's Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Cincinnati. Maybe not necessarily in that order. Actually, yeah, probably. Or winner of the SEC. SEC 1 loss at 3, Ohio State at 2, us at 4. Give that to me every single day. I'll take the 4 seed and be so happy.
No, I like it. I think I'm really nervous about these the 1-loss teams versus us. Luckily, we play Notre Dame, and I think that's huge for us. Hopefully, by the time we play Notre Dame, a couple other teams ahead of us have lost. Maybe Iowa State or Iowa. Those guys are going to be ranked in the top 10 moving forward and face off this weekend. So hopefully we can get a one of the 2 of those guys. And then if we can go in there 6 and Notre Dame 7, that's a win for us because Clemson, Georgia, then that balances out Georgia's win. That'll balance out the SEC winners win. Like we can balance out that and have a better resume, definitely than Clemson. They don't play a single ranked team for the rest of the year until the ACC championship. So here's mine. I'm going Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Cincinnati. Okay. All right. I think we have done enough to garner some respect what we did last year. And then if we can really win at Notre Dame, that is huge for us. I'm really hoping UCF can get on a roll here, maybe get ranked by the time we play them again. That would be really big for us. Indiana getting crushed by Iowa really hurt us. I was hoping they would be ranked by the time we get to them, but I don't think that's happening anymore. So that'll still be a solid win for us. But I think we can get in. I really do. With Notre Dame, if they can go undefeated and we still beat them, that's big. But give me Alabama over Oklahoma to win the championship here. That's kind of my thoughts. I don't know what happens here, but I like Oklahoma to beat Ohio State if they play in the 2-3 there. But the biggest thing, like you said, the Alabama-Georgia thing here, I just think Georgia is going to get blown off the field by Alabama. And if that happens, I know everyone's like, well, they're going to do that to everybody. Yeah, but do you want to see it happen again? You know what I mean? Do you want to see that again? Because I don't know if I want to see Georgia again get blown out. So I think that's the biggest thing. But Georgia's offense has some work to do. They can't be doing that throughout this season. Florida will catch them. Someone will catch them. So we'll see. We'll see. Who you got as your national champion there, Greg?
I mean, the way Bama played against Miami, I'm taking Alabama.
Yeah.
They can prove me wrong that I think they're the best team in the country. And I was high on them, but
not that high.
Even higher after watching that game. And against De'Aaron King, great quarterback, they made that game look easy.
Yeah, I think they're going to run away with this year. Their defense is supposed to be better than their offense, and their offense didn't look like it missed a beat with a freshman, maybe the best freshman ever. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm excited. I hope Cincinnati can get into this playoff. I really think we have a chance, but we got to have some big wins against Notre Dame, Indiana, and UCF. So we'll see what happens, and we need some help.
We could be playing a ranked SMU team at the end of the year.
That's true.
Which I'm fingers crossed that happens, because if we're going win against Notre Dame, win against maybe ranked UCF, win against ranked SMU, I think that's enough.
I do too.
We'll see.
So we'll see, man. I'm excited, but let's jump in now to a little bit of a review of what happened this past weekend for our Bearcats out there. They played Miami. They won convincingly at home, for the Bell Trophy that we have between the two, only 30 miles separating the two schools. What were your first overall thoughts of how the game went?
I saw just about everything I wanted to see. Dez looked good on his deep ball. Second play of the game, 81 yard touchdown to Tyler Scott on that post. I was watching his post game, and he said Miami usually plays one high safety, and they came out with two on that second play. And he was not thrown off, just wasn't expecting it, and was like, Tyler Scott wide open, easy. But I don't know. I think on my first watch, I thought there was a little bit too much pressure on Dez, and I thought the defensive line didn't put enough pressure on Miami. But then I came back and rewatched, especially the first half, because that's when most of the action happened. Watched that a couple times this week. I'm increasingly confident in the offensive line. And the offensive line was one of the big points coming into the season. You lose James Hudson, you lose Darius Harper on the right side. And then Jake Renfro, sophomore, redshirt freshman with the COVID year, coming in, he had an injury problem all camp, got hurt in that second quarter, but I think it was more of a precautionary thing. They pulled him, gave some of the backups some good experience, but I don't know. The more I watched, and we made so many rotations. We had James Tunstall at left tackle. We had John Williams, redshirt freshman, at left tackle. Jeremy Cooper stayed at left guard the entire time. He was the only one on the line that I was a little bit, I don't know. I feel like he let a little bit too much pressure get to Dez, but overall I was pretty happy. And then going to the defensive side, again, I was like, not too many sacks. But then I watched again, that Miami quarterback was getting the ball out of his hands so quickly because he knew. I mean, there were so many times Majay had his hands in the air at the quarterback's face, and another split second, he would have had 3-4 sacks.
Yeah.
But dude had a QBR of 14, 9 for 28. Like, I mean, what
did a great job.
Ask for? It was great. They didn't target Sauce once. I think they targeted him once in zone, but never once in man. He said that was the first game that's ever happened. So
yeah,
I think Kobe Bryant he was probably just playing he wasn't pressing, so he let some guys get under him, but I think he threw for 98 yards in total.
Yeah.
And Miami could win the MAC.
Yeah, no, they're a good team. They're a good
They're a
team.
solid team. They won it 2 years ago, so I was happy.
Yeah, no, I was very pleased. We had over 500 yards of offense, so you can't complain about that. Like Dez had 4 touchdowns, and like you said, he threw a great deep ball. He looked crisp throwing, and I think you could tell he really worked on his throwing mechanics throughout the offseason. I think is what. Yeah, he worked with Carson Palmer's brother and Jordan Palmer. I think that's huge. They loved him out there. He said he had a great time, and I think that really, really helped him maybe take a step up. He's going to be in the Heisman conversation. He's being completely and disrespectfully overlooked right now, which ticks me off. How you're going to talk about Sam Howell still being in this thing and not Desmond Ridder is beyond me. But if I'm going to have one sort of concern like you, the offensive line is going to concern me the whole year. Cause like you said, they're just rotating people. They're trying to remake this whole offensive line. But like you said, the defensive line, we did let up a little more rushing yards than I would have liked. I think it was 167 or something like that. Now, a lot of that did come when, backups were in and things like that. But, I'm not worried about that secondary. We can lock guys up. So I'm more worried about the rushing as we're moving forward and defending the rush. But that's the biggest thing. There was a couple big plays Miami broke loose for rushing. So that's the only thing I really looked out for. I didn't like Dez's turnover. I thought it was kind of a wishy-washy, odd opposite side of the field. I didn't like the play call that much. It was forced. But other than that, it was fine. That felt like, he was trapped by the play more than he made a reading error. So
you know what I will also say though, like we showed almost nothing offensively or defensively, which is what I was hoping coming into the game, because I don't want to give Notre Dame, especially Marcus Freeman, any sort of ammo going against this offense. And I don't want Notre Dame or Indiana or UCF for that matter. Well, UCF will see it at that point, but I don't want them really to see what we have. So we played a pretty basic defense. You saw some blitzes, and it was mainly just Darian Beavers going up the middle or Wilson Huber on third downs, just trying to fly through there like a missile. But that was about it. And I think we just played a pretty standard base defense and said, look, we're not going to show you anything. We're still going to kill Miami. We're going to kill Murray State next week. And then get ready.
Roll through everyone else. Well, yeah, it's a good transition here. Let's jump into Murray State. There's not too much to really preview here because, we know Murray State's not anything to really write home about, but what are your hopes going into this game? What are you going to be looking for?
I mean, I want to see a quick start. I don't necessarily care so much about, well, not care, but don't care so much about how well we run the ball, because I think Jerome Ford can put up 121 yards every game. Yeah. And I think our line can do a great job, especially the interior of that line with Renfro, Vinny McConnell, and O'Quinn. I think they can give him holes. I want to see Dez challenge himself a little bit more, or Mike Denbrock challenge Dez a little bit more. Again, not show anything spectacular that we can give away on film, but maybe more deep balls, get Alec Pierce more involved on the deep ball.
Yes.
He only had, I think, one reception, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He didn't really go deep, or we didn't hit him deep too often. I'd just like to see a little bit more in the passing game and just keep rolling with Dez's confidence. And then give me a turnover. We need one turnover. That was, I think we had a streak of 20 straight games with a turnover on defense, and that was the first game we haven't in 21 games. Yeah. So I want to see a turnover. I think we can do it because the secondary is absolutely incredible. And our defensive line is on the same page where the quarterback has almost no time. So those are kind of the things that I want to see.
Yep. No, I agree. I like everything you said. This is actually going to be the first time Murray State and Cincinnati have ever played each other. So this should be an interesting one, but they rushed for 307 yards last week. So like I said, I'm not worried about us winning this game. But I would like us to keep them to a respectable amount of rushing yards here, because they are a rushing team. And then just like you want us to make a turnover. I want us to have no turnovers. That's something I'm looking out for. No turnovers. Let's make some smart plays. But last thing I'll say here is when the second team eventually gets in, I'd like to see a little more composure from Prater. I think that would be nice. He was kind of tweaky and, out there. He was just looked panicked, a little less chaos from him would be nice. Look a little more reserved, look like he controls the offense. And, that's more for future years. I'm looking ahead in my, crystal ball here, ready for next year, but just like to see him, perform a little less chaotic when he gets in there.
I agree. He got screwed on that interception though. I mean, he gunned the ball at Jordan Jones, but it was right there. So that was a kick in the gut. We were up by so much, and I'm like, come on. I don't want to give up 14 to Miami, but I'm right on par with that.
Yeah. So, but that'll be fun. We'll see what happens this week. We want to transition now to a little bit of basketball news. Greg, what we got? Some recruits on campus. What's going on?
Yep. We had two big recruits this weekend. Daniel Skillings, we've been targeting for a really, really long time. And he's right there at the top of our board right now. Number 92 overall in the country, 11 shooting, like the 11th best shooting guard out of Philly. I'm really high on him, but the one who I'm even more excited for, George Washington III, number 40 overall player, which is better than Jaren. Jaren was by 24/7 and the composite somewhere between 40 and 50 overall. He's the number 8 combo guard. Both of those are also better than Jaren, better than Zach Harvey, who was showing some promise last season, even under Brandon. But he would be, if we could land him, the best recruit since Jermaine Lawrence in 2013. And we know how that turned out with his transfer to Manhattan. He had some issues going on, but those were two really, really big visitors to have on campus. And I'm hoping and praying. We made Skillings top 10. I think they both seem to, especially the way they're posting, they both seem to have a great time. So let's go West. Let's lock that in.
I'm loving what this guy's doing. And already what he did to flip this basketball team right when he got in was insane. Let's just start with that. Like what he did coming into the fire that he came into is just the most impressive thing I've already seen. This is what I've wanted from a coach, a grinder. This guy loves the game, passionate. He's good with these guys. He's won a national championship as a player with, at UNC. I just love what he's doing with this program. Miller time, baby. Miller time. Quick stat here for you. Most Division I wins for a coach under 40 years old. Our guy Wes. All right. So love what this guy is doing with the team. Hopefully we can snag one of these big time recruits here, get the ball rolling on our next recruiting class. It's going to be fun to see this basketball team in the newly renovated Fifth Third Arena. Just going to be a blast. So that was a great preview potentially of who's to come on our basketball team. And that's it for this episode of the Cincinnati Podcats, baby. Greg, that was an awesome overview of everything we got. Excited for the Big 12 and enjoy watching us kick some Murray State butt this week.
Yep. Yes, sir. I'm excited.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later. See you.
All right. Thanks for watching.